Hello friends, I hope you are doing well. Today I want to do a collection walkthrough and update y'all basically on the plants and how they're doing since I came back from holiday. Obviously, right after I came back, my plants were dehydrated. I had to do a huge big water after 3 weeks away. That is completely normal. I did have lots of yellowing leaves going on as well. If you haven't seen my reel, I had loads, like a massive handful of yellowing leaves that I had to remove from my plants. And again, I repeat, that is normal, that is fine. And I have removed all of them. I've gotten everything back on track and hydrated again. And now I just want to show you all of the exciting things that kind of happened while I was away or that are new and noteworthy, I suppose. And just like bring you along, show you what my collection is looking like in January of 2026. Not like full houseplant tour style, but like showing you all the important things, you know? Cool. Before I get into that though, I want to say if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch more of my videos and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you returning. Now let's turn this camera around and look at my plants. Alright, starting off in the living room because I am in here already. Things are doing well. I mean, this whole section has gotten quite overgrown. It feels like it is quite busy and things are doing really well. So in here we have some new growth on the, what side is this? This is my Jacqueline side. Is it Jacqueline side? No. Yes? No. I put both my Alocasia branchifolia pink passion and my Alocasia tenderusa in one pot and they cross in the middle, so I keep forgetting which one's which side. But the tenderusa side has got new growth on both of its stalks and it's starting to properly come out in there, which is exciting. I am a little bit annoyed about my Maranta cat mustache. Not at the plant. The plant is doing great. It is pushing out new leaves all of the time. But as you can see, the new leaves have this really weird, like, line across a lot of them. Where's, sorry, there was another one in here. It's probably hiding. But this is because Cosmo, when these are rolled up, likes to chomp on the ends of them. And luckily Marantas are pet safe, so it's not going to cause him any harm. But I'd prefer him not to. Oh, this is the other leaf in here. This one's looking much worse for wear. He's gotten a lot further down on that one than a lot of the others. And so he ends up chewing the end of the leaf off and it creates this lovely straight line on the ends of them. And for some reason it's mainly the cat mustache here. He doesn't really care about the light veins or even the silver band here. He hasn't really gone after these ones at all. So whatever, it's just ever so slightly annoying and something I do spray this one with the bitter apple spray and it does help a little bit, but I feel like he just really likes to sit up here in front of that grow light and eat my plants. Unfortunately, like I said, these are pet safe, so it's fine, but it's not my preferred. I've also got some new growth on my Alocasia stingray. This leaf is looking a little bit smaller than the last, but I'm pretty sure it's because I turned my grow lights down massively before I went away. I didn't turn them off all the way because that doesn't make sense, but I put them on for like heavily reduced hours because I wanted my plants to dry out a lot slower during this time, and so it just made more sense. And so I think that occurring while this new leaf was sort of forming caused it to come out a little bit smaller, which is fine. I've got them back onto their sort of normal schedule now, and so it's going to be getting hella bright light from the top, and it will probably grow a nice big leaf next time. Speaking of nice big leaves, the Monstera constellation back here has got new growth in it, which is amazing. It has burnt itself on the grow light a little bit. Yeah, you can see that sort of spot in there. It's burning itself a little bit on the grow light. I've tried to put it as far back into the corner as possible and lower it down as much as possible, but it's leaning. So if I could get it to be back a bit. I'm sure I could probably tie the leaves up to the pole, but I just haven't done that yet. Either way, new growth incoming on there, so hopefully that leaf turns out really nice. It looks like it's got some fenestrations in it, so maybe I'll have a secondary fenestration like on this leaf. Fingers crossed for that. But that is sort of the extent of the new growth going on here. I do want to move my Norfolk Island pine back somewhere else, or potentially even get rid of it. I don't know. It does have really cute growth at the top now. But I took all the Christmas decorations off of this before I even went on holiday because Cosmo was going after them, so it was just not worth the hassle while we were away and like we couldn't supervise him. But this will go no longer in pride of place in the living room anymore. Nothing that crazy going on down here. Y'all saw my Darth Vader Rihanna green spot recently in my goals video. It is just peeking out again now, which is great. The Baramensis that I took out of the planted window, I think it's experiencing a wee bit of shock from that. It has very much so wilted down a bit, unfortunately. I think it will be okay. I'm not like worried about it long run because it's not dying, but I think it's just being a little bit sad at the transition, which for these sort of rhizomaceous begonias, I think is fairly normal, and I would prefer it obviously not to happen, but it is, so we just plow on through, I guess. On top of the cabinet, I suppose this is probably the most notable new thing. My Ilsamanii put out this new leaf while I was away. It's got a chunk of variegation on the side there. I definitely think this thing is ready for a pole very soon, so I would need to get on that ASAP, just so it's hopefully getting enough nutrients in the leaves for the leaves to grow a little bit bigger, because I want them to grow like the big one here, if possible, and ideally stay variegated. Maybe this isn't the right spot for it on top here. It's in front of a Sansi grow light, which is seriously turning my lipstick plant pink and sun stressing it a little bit, which I mean isn't my favorite, so maybe I will move this one to another spot, a slightly less bright spot. It's growing really well, it's just definitely on the pinker side for my preferred taste. In the cabinet, ooh, I haven't been able to like look in here that intensely yet, just because it's quite tight. But some things that I noticed is this new leaf on my dragon scale variegated. Look at that. It's the biggest leaf it's given me so far, and it is a lovely marbly variegation. It is a bit on the yellower side, so I'm hoping that it fades down a little bit, but I don't know, it's still really cool. The Begonia Sizemore, I believe, is what we ended up IDing this as, not a Burkillii, has put out this beautiful new leaf. I do quite like the black on it, and then the velvetiness and the hairiness. It is quite fun and different. My props in Fluval are starting to root. I don't know which one it is that root belongs to. It's either the Majestic or the Syndapsis in there. I'm not entirely sure. I have a feeling it's the Majestic, because it seemed to be like slightly pinky. Yeah, probably. But either way, it's rooting, which I love. And then the other bit of big news that happened while I was away is that my variegated Polynera put out 2 new beautiful leaves in there. Look how amazing that is. They're looking so nice. And it's got some more new growth in there as well, which is great. Some tiny, tiny, tiny new leaves look like they're coming in. So this is doing fantastically. I have a feeling it's gonna like grow quite quickly, much faster than I was expecting it to. I don't know, the rest of these things just kind of feel like they're chugging along. Nothing that exciting happening. My Anthurium Regal still doing very well in here. Definitely time for a repot very soon. That's on my to-do list ASAP because it's very well rooted in there. I don't think it's quite got new growth happening yet, but probably soon it would appreciate something a little bit more, oh, sorry for that noise, fulfilling. Yeah, things are very, very bushy in here. Oh my goodness, look at those tiny, tiny, tiny little serpent's leaves. They're so adorable. They come out so little. I mean, they don't get very big. Gosh, this has gotten so full. Look how full that is. And I don't understand, because it's got peduncles on it, but this one never bloomed for me. But it's got peduncles that look like they have had blooms on them. Do you see what I mean? I'm very confused. But unfortunately it hasn't bloomed yet. Maybe next year, maybe not. We will see. Also, what the heck are you doing tendriling this intensely? This is the Wilbur Graves in here, which I'm kind of tempted to cut off a tendril again. I did that before here, and it obviously hasn't changed that much in its behavior, so I'm not entirely sure. I should probably get it on a trellis is the answer. I don't want to put another Hoya on a trellis. I feel like I don't like them as much on trellis as I do them sort of dangling down. I much prefer that personally. So I feel like the office is kind of where the least amount happened. Nothing really crazy going on here. Like, my pings are still very happy. Cebu Blue was a bit dehydrated when I got home, but like that's fairly normal. Actually, I lied. My Ernestii, look at the size of that leaf. It's huge. And I've got another new one coming out at the top, which is so good. So this one, I think I need to put some more moss in it again. I've still not unwrapped the pole back there from when I went away, but that's okay. It doesn't really mind too much, I don't think. Also, my Genevivianum put out this insane leaf, and this is kind of hard for me because I was contemplating getting rid of this plant, but now it's put this beautiful big leaf out, and I'm like, I don't want to get rid of it now because I'm just like, it's doing so well. So I don't know, I'll have to think harder on this one and decide whether or not I actually am ready to get rid of it. I don't know, I just feel like I'm not like in love with it, but like when it does this, it makes me more in love with it for sure. Also, my Rhaphidophora variegated is putting out some really nice growth at the minute. Sorry, the lighting's not amazing in this spot because of the grow light, but it's putting out some good new leaves. I do have a tiny bit of update from the Rudsta as well. We have new growth on the Warqueanum. Dun, 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 dun. And it's looking like quite a nice leaf, which is super exciting. So let me turn that so it's not touching the leaf. It can have free reign in there. Oh my goodness, yes. This is my first new leaf on the Warqueanum in quite a long time. This is another plant that I was like debating whether or not I wanted to get rid of just because it's been so difficult for me. Do I just want to give up on it? I don't know. But seeing the new leaf come out has kind of changed my mind on that one a little bit. Also got a huge new leaf coming in at the back of my green unicorn. The last new leaf was huge, so I think we're just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger with that one. But this cabinet is doing very well. These begonias had thrips kind of at the end of last year, but I think we're doing good now. I Pravantoed them, and it doesn't look like anything has returned, but they are growing quite steadily, and like you can tell, very much so, up in the grow light zone. The shelves are fairly samey, except my Regal bottom is like properly, so it's got this growth point, but like the bigger growth point at the back there, that is really sort of coming along. And so I feel like it might put out some new growth fairly soon. So maybe I'll be able to put the other one from the living room in here as well, and we can joint pot that situation, maybe. I'm not even gonna go inside this box myself, but I will show you. All of my anthuriums are currently in this box. I did turn off my heat mat while I was away. Back there, I unplugged it, and to be honest, I've not plugged it back in again. So these things have just been in this box with the lid on, hence all the condensation in here. I don't know if I will keep the heat mat or not, because I feel like doing the box is just as fine. But, oh, okay. This is actually something I should update on properly. Fluval, y'all, has finally worked for me with alocasia corms. These are all of the ones that I got out of my Mitchellitiana and Friedeck, and I cannot believe they're already sprouting and rooting so much, like intensely, and like really rooting down in there. So that is so good. I feel like I'm officially a convert now. I think I've converted to liking Flubel, because this is some seriously good growth going on right here. I don't think I would have gotten this if I had just had them in semi-hydro. Also, in the back on the desk, do you see that there? We've got some ZZ Raven new growth. Oh my gosh, not one, but 2 bits of new growth proper coming in, and they look really nice. So that is super good. Kind of weird time of year, it's winter, but my ZZ just does whatever it wants, really. My other alocasias on here are doing well. I did make a bit of a change here, but I will talk about that in an upcoming video. In the meantime, I have put my Regal Shield in this spot, and it is doing phenomenally. So good. I mean, it has cycled the tiniest bit, but for the most part, it's just putting out new growth and being a happy camper in there. And then lastly, but definitely not leastly, we have the bedroom, and things are doing, again, fairly well in here. Nothing that crazy. One thing to note is that my golden pothos is very unhappy. Like, it is constantly dropping leaves. It's giving me yellow leaves all the freaking time, just like constantly in here. And the reason for that is the pot it's in is too small for the size of the plant. It is a very large plant. It goes all the way along there and back and there and back several times over, and I know for a fact that this pot is too small for it in there. It is not a big pot. And so I am kind of tempted to maybe not start over with this one, but maybe chop it back quite heavily and bring it to a point where the size of the pot can tolerate the level of plant. That being said, I also feel like I probably need to just go in there and maybe divide it in half, just because the roots are going to be so big and thick inside of that. So I don't know. Same things happening on the Marble Queen. I'm just getting yellow leaves all the time, and I try and pull them off because I don't like the way they look, obviously, but I don't want to just like take all the leaves off, because then there's going to be no more leaves on this thing. But at the same time, it is growing quite big, beautiful leaves on this side. So I don't know. I don't quite understand. Like, do you want to grow or do you not? Either way, I'm not mad at it. It's a beautiful plant, and if I need to do some pruning on it to like help it like do a little bit better, I probably will. Probably the most exciting thing that happened while I was away was this new leaf that grew in on my Anthurium pallidiflorum. You can't even see the entirety of the leaf in the frame because it is so huge. It is literally 1 meter long, and I am obsessed with it. It goes so far down in here. Like, it is not far from touching the table there, which is great, and it is just so pretty and basically perfect. And this came in while I was away. I noticed a new growth coming in just before I left, and I was like, I can't wait to see what that does. And it's done great things. So I am just so excited for this one. I will potentially have to maybe even find a different spot. I mean, I don't even have a different spot for it, but like, you can see it's really coming out of the pot there. So maybe I can shift it further in so it's hanging less intensely, but I feel like they like to hang down like that. And it's not at like risk of falling over at all. I did have to take my grow lights off of this area because the Sansi grow light bulbs that I had there just like went kaput. So I am waiting now for a different solution to put there, probably a different sort of clamp light up, maybe something Grow Gang, just to point kind of up at the ceiling so these things can get more light, because they otherwise don't get loads. It's not the brightest of spots. Things are still doing fine up here, nothing like radical. I feel like they would appreciate more light though, because I do have things like my variegated jade satins and my variegated heartleaf philodendron, which do better in brighter light. So having some sort of grow light on there would be good. I've just got like a bit of a runner on one of the non-variegated sections that I'll probably just cut off. Really, I don't think I need it to stay. But like, they're doing fine here. They're not like thriving without the light. They are just existing. And that's fine for now. My green Syngonium chiapense has put out some new growth for me while I was away as well. I think both of these leaves potentially. And on this new leaf, it has that tiny, tiny, tiny little speck there of variegation. I don't think this is a variegated plant. I'm pretty positive it is just a green one, but I just like that it is got that tiny bit. But actually maybe, because I've heard the variegation is like stable on these, like it might go away, but you can get it to come back. So maybe I will have to give this one even brighter light and see if I can get it on a pole, and then potentially like more variegation would come out of it, maybe. My Hoyas in this zone have just like gone crazy. They're climbing up, 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 up. At the back, they're climbing up at the side. They are just tendriling everywhere, and it's kind of overwhelming me a little bit. I probably need to do something about it, just because I can't have them do that constantly. They're fine, like they're obviously very happy, but they're just getting a little bit intense for me. Ooh, what is this? My Black Pagoda lipstick plant is in bloom at the minute. Look at that little thing. I love winter for these adorable alien snail blooms on it. I think it's so fun and spunky and weird, and I just love it so much. Everything else up here doing really well. Like, oh my goodness, this is really coming into its own. The Hoya Broge Polyneura is really coming along. I'm pretty sure this was just a single cutting. At one point, potentially two, or it like branched off from in there, but it has really, really filled out in this time. I wonder if it would look good put into the normal one. Would they look good together? Should I put them together? Vote down below in the comments, because I don't know, I'm tempted. And then there'd be one less plant. Maybe. So there we go. As you can see, most of my plants are doing pretty well. There's great things going on considering I was away for 3 weeks and not paying attention to them at all during that time. Like, my cat sitter wasn't even touching them. Like, nothing was getting watered while I was away. And so aside from those like little bits of yellow leaves, I think that they have done a really fantastic job, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm excited to see how they continue to grow over the course of this winter, especially now that the days are getting longer again. Thank goodness. I can't handle these short days. But that is it for today's video. Before I sign off, I want to say a huge thank you to the newest members of my Good Growing fam over on Patreon, Amy, Krista, and Meg. Thank you so much for joining in. I really hope you love it over there. If anyone else is interested in joining, it is £3 a month for the lowest tier, and for that you get the bulk of everything going on, like bonus content, live chats, access to the Discord server. You can go to higher tiers for minimally more, but I really like to keep everything as affordable as possible, so it's kind of like a pay what you can kind of system. If you are interested, the link is down below in the description. If not, absolutely no worries. I do not blame you. All is well, and I will still be making my content here all of the time. Nothing's changing in that department. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. So thank you again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!